Progressively dumber conservative MLAs in Manitoba are criticizing Premier Wab Kinew's NDP government for not solving homelessness in Manitoba within 2 years. Now, conservative MLAs are coming after the government by using numbers from an organization called End Homelessness Winnipeg. I checked their website and I don't see anything suspicious about them, so I suspect that they are doing good work. But it's important to remember that the numbers they released were for people surveyed who are experiencing homelessness, whereas the Manitoba government's current approach is mostly focused on people living in encampments. Those are, the people who are at the worst end of things. I'm not sure what criteria they're using, but I suspect their definition is pretty broad. You tend to see this with advocacy groups, and no shade to them, but they have an interest in ensuring that their numbers reflect everyone who they want to help. And yes, in Manitoba, after years of Captain Costa Rica and Heather Step on Me in power, Manitoba has a lot of problems related to housing for those living in extreme poverty. But the current government has been working really hard at making real progress at getting people who are living in encampments off the street and into housing with what they call wraparound support, which is so much more than the Conservatives did when they were in power. I know I spent a year interning at an organization that worked with unhoused people, ironically, while in school and acquiring more and more debt and having to move back into my parents' basement. By some measures, some might have suggested I was experiencing homelessness at the time. Now, don't get me wrong, more needs to be done. Specifically, the province needs to very quickly build back the housing infrastructure that the Conservatives sold off when they were in power. We need to stay focused on our housing first strategy. But we also need to have reforms in all kinds of parts of government. We need to educate kids at a younger age about what alcohol does to the body, so that even if their parents say that drinking is okay, they understand that there is no safe level of alcohol for them to consume. And it may feel good at the time, but they are literally ingesting poison that is hurting their brains and other parts of their body. And depending on how much they consume and at what age, it can rob them of their futures in life. And if they're someone who can give birth, it can rob their babies of their mental capacity for their entire lives. We need to look at how we educate kids about what it means to be a parent and how, if they haven't given that much thought yet, it might not be a good idea to carry a child to term if they have not already made the conscious choice to have their lives ready to have a kid. So much of what we do as a society involves treating people living in extreme poverty as if they're a problem that needs to be swept under the rug. These are people. We need to treat the ones that we have with dignity and kindness, and we need to be able to take steps to try and ensure that as a society, we let fewer and fewer people fall down a hole that can be nearly impossible to claw your way out of if you slip far enough down it.